If you're here, it means you want one thing above all: the freedom that comes with knowing what others will do before they do it. The freedom of control. Unlike the average person, you notice the people who walk into a room and with a smile rearrange the world around them as if they're playing chess. Maybe you've met someone who felt like a mirror, so convincing you handed them your truth without thinking. Among fictional villains, the coldest example is Johan Liebert, the master of all manipulators, the beautiful blank-faced man who rearranges loyalties and watches people betray themselves. After studying the anime and digging into the psychology behind it, I've discovered the secret tactics he uses to manipulate anyone. I'm not here to teach you how to harm. I'm here to dissect Johan's craft. I'll expose the anatomy of charisma turned poisonous and how to dismantle them. If you choose to use these tactics, use them with good intentions. Trick number 4 can turn you into an evil person because it can completely shatter someone's reality. Watch to the end. The final third of this video gives concrete, live-tested defenses you can use the next time manipulation starts to shadow your life. Trick 1. Appearance and attention is a tool. Walk into any room and observe how certain people change the air. Notice who people gravitate towards. There is always someone who seems to give more attention than they take. They ask the right questions. They remember the small things. A childhood pet. A joke told once years ago. Johan's first power is aesthetic and immediate. He is unthreatening, attractive, cultured. It's an old trick in the human playbook. People trust what appears refined. But the weapon here is not beauty itself. It is appearance used as a mask. Johan's smile is a door. His voice is the kindling that gets strangers to volunteer their histories. On the surface, his conversations are ordinary. He listens better than most. He repeats names. That attention feels rare and valuable, so people give him more. Confidences, loyalties, secrets. Attention unlocks a basic human response. We feel seen, and when we feel seen, we relax. Relaxation is the doorway to trust. In the simplest scenes, Johan is charming in a way that feels rare. But beneath that skill is a pattern, a careful intake of data that will later be used to predict, to influence, to shepherd decisions. This becomes a slow siphon. In real life, the pattern is the same. But notice what isn't there beneath the surface. Where empathy should live, there is reflection. Empathy is warmth. Reflection is a mirror. A mirror tells you what you want to believe about yourself. This is not charisma alone. Charisma can be genuine. It can uplift. The danger arrives when attention is deployed instrumentally, when each listening moment is a deposit to be withdrawn later. That deposit buys you access to secrets, loyalties, and decisions. This is the first lesson. Charm is a tool. When you feel seen for the first time, your defenses relax. That gap is where influence slips in. Trick 2. The strategic void. If the first layer is attention, the second layer is void. Johan is famous for an almost terrifying emptiness, a gulf where convictions should be. The lack of ideology lets him adopt any role, any story, and sell it with disarming certainty. Without an anchor of identity, he becomes everyone's confidant and enemy alike. Why is emptiness powerful? Because humans project. We seek meaning. When someone holds a blank space, we instinctively project narratives into it. He's like me, we tell ourselves. He understands. Projection completes the manipulator's work for them. Rather than constructing a complex lie, the manipulator creates a space for others to build their own illusions. This is the second lesson. Beware the person who is a perfect mirror and a complete blank. Trick 3. Storytelling as moral reframing. Master manipulators aren't just charming, they are storytellers. Johan weaves narratives that make moral categories fade. He doesn't force people to do things through threats. He tells them a story where the action looks like fate, like justice. The true artistry lies in reframing. A crime becomes an inevitability. Betrayal becomes mercy. Violence becomes tragedy. Stories shift responsibility. If you are part of a story, your choice suddenly feels like destiny. You stop weighing consequences, you start acting as a character. But the storyteller's craft also has a signature. It reduces nuance into a plot that rewards obedience. Recognize that when someone insists on a moral clarity that erases ambiguity, they might be building consent rather than seeking truth. Trick 4. Isolation. Manipulation succeeds in silence. Johan isolates people from contradictory voices, from friends, from evidence, from the small checks that keep us sane. Isolation is tactical. When you are the primary source of someone's validation, your words become law. Real-world manipulators do the same in subtler ways. They sow doubt about outsiders. They cultivate dependency. They make the victim's world smaller until all roads lead back to them. Isolation is not only physical, it is informational and emotional. Cut the context, and you cut the victim's ability to test reality. So how do we arm ourselves against the Johans of the world? Johan is compelling because he compresses manipulative techniques into a single terrifying figure. Together, they form a pattern. So how do we look out for these people? Step 1 is to slow the story. Fast emotional escalation is a red flag. If a relationship, romantic, professional, or social, accelerates to confessions, commitments, or conspiratorial thinking, quickly pause. Ask for time. Manipulators need momentum. Time breaks their rhythm. 2 is to seek external reality. Tell a trusted friend a simple, factual piece of the interaction. If a person discourages you from getting outside perspectives, take that as a warning sign. Outside viewpoints can expose distortions the manipulator hides. Then, test their consistency, not their charm. Notice patterns over time. Does this person's account of events change when they speak to others? Do small factual errors accumulate? Consistency matters far more than charisma. You must guard your dependency. Manipulators thrive on being indispensable. Retain multiple sources of support. Keep routines that anchor you. Hobbies, mentors, guilds. The smaller your world, the more influence a single actor can hold. Then, name the mirror. When you sense someone is reflecting rather than engaging, call it, not as an accusation, but as a reality test. You say you understand me. Can you explain what you do in my situation? True empathy is active. Reflection is passive. The difference shows up in answers that include risk, effort, or personal stakes. You must document and verify. For relationships where stakes matter, business, legal, long-term commitments, keep written records. Verify claims independently when possible. Practice emotional self-regulation. Manipulators exploit peaks: fear, rage, grief, euphoric bonding. Techniques like breathwork, grounding, can blunt the manipulator's arrow. Finally, hold to principle over persona. Don't let the person's performance rewrite your moral baseline. If an action feels wrong when you consider it without the storyteller's framing, it probably is wrong. Johan Liebert fascinates because he exposes a truth we'd rather ignore. The human mind can be guided not only by force, but by artful absence, seduction, and story. We study Johan not to emulate him, but to immunize ourselves.